Yeah, my name is Andrew Santos. I'm from Northwest Indiana near Chicago, and I'm still living in Indiana right now. I went to Purdue University to study physics, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm just chilling in Indiana, waiting to head over to France as soon as I can. In physics, we have the terms physics and astronomy, and you can break it down into what we call particle physics, which sounds pretty close to what it actually is. So like what I do is I focus in on one particle. So imagine studying like oxygen for your entire life. So I study what are called neutrinos that are super tiny and antisocial particles. So in France, I'll be studying one of the ways that neutrinos can answer questions about the universe itself. And particularly, we're trying to see how do supernovae happen? How do stars die and explode, which is the term supernova. So I'll be studying at École Polytechnique in Paris. I decided to apply there because they, first of all, have a master's in high energy physics, which is very specific to what I want to do. They host a lab called the Laboratoire de Prince, and there, that one of the teams that studies neutrinos in that lab is part of this massive international collaboration. I just think that there's so much to learn about the world as much as there is to learn about the universe. And I think that different cultures interplaying is one of the most complicated things you could ever try to understand. So Fulbright is that way to get at least that year or so in an environment where you might not have spent time doing research studying. I know those that teach, right, doing ETAs. It's in your life where you're going to absorb so much information and have so many relationships. And that to me has always been so fascinating. My teacher in high school always said, if you learn one thing out of my entire class through all of high school, it's get out of the bubble of Northwest Indiana. And I think that's one of the greatest things you could probably tell somebody. And that's a big reason why I applied to it. For anybody that is thinking about it or unsure about it, I would say, go for it if you're curious about it. One of the biggest things that motivated me that I kind of alluded to was letting interests intersect in a lot of ways. So for me, there's science communication that matters a lot to me, which changes through different cultures, right? I do have somewhat of an affinity for political science, for different international policies. There's just French culture, language that's neat, music, all those things they might play together and motivate you to understand all of those leisure activities or hobbies or passions in a different culture. And that is one of the most probably unsettling things you might do is to put yourself in a different culture for so long. But I think it's exactly that reason why it's worth applying. And I would encourage anyone that's curious to do it. It's important to be honest and say this is hard. Grieving is important when grieving is likely necessary. If you feel like you can be productive right now, great. If you can't, that's fine. I think that COVID hits everybody differently, but regardless, I hope that everybody has close friends, family, or mentors, etc., that they can depend on to help them navigate it. And I think that that'll be one of the greatest pieces of hope that we come out understanding how important the in-person interactions are and how important, even when we're apart, those interactions can be.